Hey, I'm not antagonizing
No.
the beast.
All right. So my next, let's see.
let's-
I had
let's go.
another.
Let me pull up another topic. Let's change this
Go
now.
ahead, Joe.
No way.
Okay.
Oh, I
Another
want
topic.
to talk about.
Put
You wanna talk about
put her foot down.
No, go ahead.
Do that.
I want to talk about something here in a minute, but
that
I want
first.
you
Do
to
that
do that. Go ahead.
So I had a really cool topic
Okay.
that I just found out about, and I'm going to do more research on. So I saw that a lot of these artists are doing like quarantine concerts. Because
Yeah, I've heard about
that
this.
we're
Which is
in
super
this.
cool.
No, exactly. This is the first time today that I did it, so I was seeing, and they're doing them like via YouTube live stream or Instagram live.
Like
Some
some
are
of them are even
it
doing it for
Twitch.
free. Like
No,
it's
all of
insane.
these are free.
Really? No
because-
sh-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
wow,
doing
that's
it,
cool.
and
Well,
then
they're
you
bored,
can do
too.
you can do
Yeah.
the donations, just like people super chat and stuff like that. But I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's awesome that these artists are doing that, knowing that well, number one, think about it. They're all quarantined. I've never heard so many interviews as I have in my life. Driving in, because
Oh
They're
my God.
available.
all their,
They're
yeah,
available.
Sitting
all
around
their
doing nothing,
concerts
twiddling
are
their thumbs.
canceled. They're all home,
Yeah.
so they're doing whatever. So now they're like trying to do,
want-
kind of like we are. Like, okay, what would the people like?
Like you said, it's super nice of them. Guess what Instagram did?
What?
Tory Lanez had the biggest live stream on Instagram ever with the most
Wow.
concurrent viewers. It was around 350,000 live viewers.
Wow.
While he
Yeah.
was doing this thing called quarantine radio.
Right.
That's what he was on. He was bringing on huge star. I mean, he's a huge star himself.
Tory Lane, I don't
and
know him.
he already
so.
had millions of followers before. He did it for 2 days, gained 1.6 million more followers.
Holy
That's how
shit.
big this was. But he's a rapper. He's a musician. He makes like
Right.
kind of R&B and rap music.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes with the territory to be like, this isn't even offensive because it's true. Kind of raunchy. You know
Right,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna swear. You're gonna be smoking weed like on the live. That's what rappers do, right?
did they, like-
So Instagram disabled his live streaming feature.
Oh,
He even
man.
made a separate Instagram account called Quarantine Radio. They disabled the live streaming
It's
on
not
that.
surprising because it's owned
But
by
why?
Facebook, and
Yes.
Facebook is
Yeah,
very
they're-
rigid
I know.
with their guidelines.
Like they're
That's
kind
so
of getting
wrong of
Mormony.
them.
I'm just saying.
That's
like, a
so
little
wrong of
Mormon,
them to
like-
do.
Like I get it from one standpoint
Of
because
what?
of kids. No, because of kids.
But why do they have access to that? Why do your kids have access
You know
to that?
why? Because people don't parent their children properly.
Right. So why is that our problem that we have to deal with? That
Well,
should
the
be
world-
the
Yeah, you shouldn't-
parents.
yeah, you shouldn't punish
Unfortunately-
everybody for
Unfortunately,
that.
it is
Yeah.
because that's what the society we live
Yeah.
in is. People don't parent.
There's
their
there's a
children.
there's a safe balance between the both. Like really, like that, like that's what politics is about. It's
I
just
mean-
finding that safe balance. One or the other.
I mean, people
By the
said
way,
that I was a crazy. Oh, go ahead.
No, by the way, I was just going to say Gino had posted that there's nothing wrong with rocking the porno stash from the 70s. You know what I'm
They-
saying?
I might just shave the beard
You
for a
know
little
what I
while,
mean?
get it
You know
get it
what I
going,
mean?
get a little squirrely going. You know what I'm saying?
There's nothing wrong with that at all. We've got Gino said again, Blue and Solaris may be on the
On its way to the house.
in the house. Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get them. I could, so literally,
yeah,
I
I'll
really,
take that thing.
I've talked about this, and I know Lori's really opposed to it, and I understand.
So of course you'll bring it up. But
No,
okay.
no. I do see, your point on this one, but I really would like, especially Bruce works with a lot of
Yeah,
venomous
no,
snakes,
no,
Yes, I
knew
do.
Exactly
and
where you
I've
were
thought
going.
about that. If we do 3.0, it would be so cool
So
to have
I'm
some
not.
venomous
So
snakes.
Lori, you're gonna hate me so much for this, but
Yeah,
I figured
well.
I'd actually. I've thrown this out a number of times, Brian. I had actually thrown it out your way at all, but if you were to actually build a venomous area, I would actually donate my entire collection.
See that?
to
Look at
this.
that! Oh my god!
And we would, and so
Then it could
to
just
be
be
fully
here.
frank, there are a lot of snakes I don't let on about, and I think you would really enjoy a lot.
Oh
of
my
them
gosh!
for sure.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah.
No.
There's
And
just-
I will work
we
with every
can't-
one of them because they're my
Yeah,
We
snakes.
Yeah, they're
can't
your
talk
snakes.
about this on the podcast. All I'm going
Eh.
to say is there's so many liabilities.
I knew you'd hate.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
I-
I
and
know.
like-
It's
and that's
not
why-
that I
and that's why
hate
we
it.
understand. No,
It's
I
like I got
completely-
to come at it from a completely smart business standpoint.
You know,
The
and-
liabilities that are
I know.
there,
Yeah.
I'm not willing to take.
No, and I
That,
totally.
I completely get. No, I mean, because like if I'm
yeah.
on, even if it's
Even
me,
if you're an
if it's my
employee
snake,
and
if
you
I
get
get bit
bit
on
and
your
you
property,
die,
yeah,
Then I'm
it's
fucked.
on your property,
Right.
and
Like,
that's where you're
can't-
liable.
I can't
True.
take that on.
Yeah.
No,
And
and I-
obviously, we wouldn't have
yeah.
them ever open to the public.
no
They'd be just
doubt.
on
No, we would never
display,
pull a venomous
but,
snake out in front of people.
I mean, not a
like I
chance
said,
I'm willing to take.
I see
You
your
got-
point.
You don't
on it.
have a very big window, but you've got a bigger window with a sloth than you do with the.
So we got.
I said it's
Damn.
still not. No, yeah,
Dad.
I didn't fucking say green light.
Dad.
I said
That sounded like a green light
I
to
said
me.
a sliver.
Because we have those venomous
Okay.
snakes free.
Sliver.
Come
Okay.
on.
Okay.
You
a
gotta,
bigger sliver.
Okay.
you gotta push the venomous stuff more.
I know.
So that
it
we
gets
can get a
slot,
slot.
yeah.
So actually, I wanted to actually clarify on this one. So if we were to provide maybe antivenom for those said animals, if that were
Well,
a
I saw
possibility,
somebody-
let's just say it's a possibility. Let's just say
I
for a
saw
second.
actually, ironically enough, Jay actually, just the letter J said, "Do you keep antivenin?" Now, let me just tell you, antivenin is number one. There's all kinds of different antivenin, right?
Yep.
For rattlesnakes, there's crowfab, and then there's all kinds of different elapid, whatever the venom is. Each with the, crowfab is the cheapest of the antivenins, but most antivenin is like $10,000 a vial. And when you get done by, let's say, an elapid, you might need 6 or 10 vials of it.
Up to 25K for
Yeah,
crowfab.
yeah, and yeah. So there you go. So you basically, and you got to remember that most antivenin is only really good for 1 year shelf life. So when you're keeping venomous snakes, it is impossible to keep updated, non-expired antivenin economically, because you might have to have $100,000 worth of antivenin on site that would have to just get thrown away 12 months later.
Exactly.
So it's just not practical. When a lot of people are like, "Oh, if you keep venomous snakes, you should keep antivenin." It's just not practical. Nobody does. I mean, zoos do because that's part of the thing.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Or if you're actually a lab.
But
Yeah.
for a point of preference, we actually do keep bite protocols and epinephrine. I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yeah.
But we keep both those things on hand in our home,
Yeah.
And it is a huge point that even if somebody decided to get into venomous snakes, that's something that I always recommend.
Yeah.
Is like at the very least, make sure you have a bite protocol for every individual animal. I'm talking about locale as well. It
Yeah,
does
that way you
not
can take
mean
that-
squat
yeah.
just because you have a Bitis ariantis. You need to know that Bitis ariantis, like to what locale. Is this from Tanzania?
Yeah.
Is it from Cameroon? Where is it from?
And what you want to do, obviously, for that protocol is you take that to the hospital when you get bit. So that way the
Exactly.
hospital isn't treating you for a rattlesnake bite when you have a pit viper bite.
Right.
Pit viper is a rattlesnake, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like if it's a bushmaster, As a matter of fact, our friend Rodney got bit by a bushmaster years ago. And,
Kessie?
No. Local guy here in Michigan.
Oh, Robbie. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I heard Rodney.
Rodney.
Oh, I heard Robbie.
No, Rodney.
I was like,
And,
really, Robbie?
And it was actually a horrible thing, obviously.
He almost
yeah.
died.
And, he almost died, and there was
Like an African bush viper?
no, it wasn't a bush. It was a bushmaster.
Bushmaster.
Yeah,
Oh,
bushmaster.
no.
And so they're nasty bites. And of course, Dean Ripa, before he was killed by his
Mm.
wife, which I find interesting in itself, just the fact that Dean, gets
Sidebar.
done. It's like that's a whole nother story. But it was like Tiger King all over again.
Right, you ain't lying. I was just about to say that. I was totally going down that route. I totally was.
Yeah, Bushmaster King. But he, thankfully, Rodney was in the hospital in intensive care, and they literally had told his family, it's
Say your
Yeah,
goodbyes,
say your
yeah.
goodbyes, because his blood pressure was crashing, and they were crushing him with antivenin. And ultimately, his wife, as one last ditch effort, got a hold of Dean Ripa, who had been bitten a few times and written books on bushmasters. And Dean advised the hospital, who was treating him improperly, and within 12 hours, he was on his road back. The interesting thing that I find interesting I talked to Rodney about this, and the interesting thing was it's a neurotoxin. And so for like 6 to 12 months, he hated going to sleep at night because he would have crazy dreams.
Oh, shit.
Like he said, he goes, I hate going to sleep because I wake up in these bizarre lucid dreams because that neurotoxin really was messing with his brain for months and almost a year later.
No shit.
So it was wild.
Like
but
they talk about lingering effects with
Yeah.
venom all the
Yeah,
time, but to
yeah.
think that it was neurological.
yeah, to
wow,
do that.
that's insane.
And it's funny, they say in
What
Australia,
amazing.
almost every keeper you can think of in Australia has been bitten. Even our buddy Peter Birch has been bitten by death adders. and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
There's
Peter Birch. What a cool guy.
There's this funny thing that I believe to be true, and I want to know what you think. So you know how you said there's like after effects from getting bit by that stuff?
Yeah.
So people say that there's there's like if you do like acid or something,
LSD.
it may get like stored somewhere in
It
your
does,
body,
yeah, it can.
and that if you like shake, like if you fall, I'm just throwing out a crazy example,
Sure.
but like let's say you
knock it
fall,
loose.
and then you knock it loose, and then all of a sudden a
You're
year
tripping
later
again.
you're
Tripping
tripping, you're just like,
Oh my God.
could that happen with the venom where let's say you got bit, it maybe you thought like it was a dry bite or something, but then you knock a wall and then all of a sudden you're like got the effects
I don't
of
think
some
that.
venom.
I doubt that it could last like that. I think that you have effects, but for instance, like
Or
black
like
mamba bite.
residual
Yeah,
effects.
residual. But like black mamba bites, for instance, Heidi, I know that I saw her name pop
She
up.
got
Our
bit
friend.
by a black mamba?
No, she didn't get bit, but they helped treat her and Arno treat black mamba bites and all South African.
Oh man,
bites.
they are absolute heroes.
Yeah,
where
they're
are from,
great.
man.
But what happens with black mambas? Oftentimes you get bit and you're fine for like 10 or 12 hours, and then it hits you.